Hi BookTube! For today's video I'm going to film my thoughts and reaction on the BookTube SFF 2020 shortlist. And let's play a small game, shall we? Part 1 is, how many books of these did I have in my apartment? Did I own? These are the 4 books that I actually owned from the shortlist. These 2 I had out from the library. So that begs the question, how many of those books had I actually read when the shortlist came out? 0! Because of course I hadn't. And I also hadn't read any other of the books at all. And of these books that were all nominated, that's 20 books in 20 books. 2 of the books were nominated in 2 different categories, so technically that would be 18 books. Of those 18 books, 12 were on my TBR. And then I'm counting the fact that I haven't read the first book in a series for 2 of these, but the first book is definitely on my TBR. So personally, technically that means that it was a good shortlist for me because I was excited about a lot of these books. That does not make anything better, to be completely fair. So let's talk about the categories and what I feel about the books that were nominated. So for the short work category, The Test, the To Be Taught is Fortunate, and How to Lose a Time War, they were nominated. And of those 3 books, the only one that were already on my TBR was How to Lose a Time War. So once I noticed that, I was like, no, I will not participate in this category, because The Test, I have heard a lot of good things about The Test, but I'm just not interested in it. And when it comes to Be Taught If Fortunate by Becca Chambers, I haven't read anything by Becca Chambers, and that includes the other 3 books that she has written. The first one being something with Planet, Angry Planet. Brain fart, doesn't matter. I have not read them, so I'm not really that interested in this one. And that also makes me kind of confused as to why this was eligible to this award, because technically it's the 4th book. I couldn't nominate anything anyway, except for in this category. And if The Haunting of Tram's Car 015 had been on here, and How to Lose a Time War, I would have read To Be Taught If Fortunate or The Test. If those had come in, I would have done that. But as it is right now, that's not a category that I'm gonna put any energy in, because there are some big books coming. For the middle grade category, I will cheat because I can't remember all what they're called. We have Tunnel of Bones, Dragon Pearl, Dead Voices, and Sal and Gabby Breaks the Universe. Of those books, Dragon Pearl and Sal and Gabby were like with a small question mark if that was on my TBR or not. And yeah, another category that I'm not going to put any energy in, because some of these, 2 of them are sequels and I have not read the first books, and also I don't own any of them, so that's another reason why. But I was pretty interested in this list, especially since this kind of a running joke that Victoria Schwab, or V.E. Schwab, is always on the list and hasn't won anything. I do find that kind of funny. But yeah, I'm not going to put my energy in this, but I have heard good things about all of them, so that's pretty good. Then we have Young Adult, and for that we have 2 sequels and 2 first in a series. I think it was first in, yes. One of them might be a standalone, I have actually not checked it, but we have Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, the first one being Skyward. I have not read Skyward yet. I didn't manage to get to it last year, and I just didn't pick it up the rest of the year, even though I was pretty confident that the sequel would end up on this list. Then we have Wicked King, another one that I was pretty sure would show up, either that one or Queen of Nothing, but I didn't manage to get to Cruel Prince last year. I did get to page like 70. I borrowed it from a library, and then I needed to return it, and I haven't felt compelled to pick it up again, but I didn't mind it. It was just not that gripping, so to speak. This, and then there we have, oh yeah, then we have Sorcerer of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. She also wrote An Enchantment of Ravens. I've heard a lot about this, and yeah, I haven't heard too much about this, except people say that they think it's better than An Enchantment of Ravens, and that book had very mixed reviews. So I was looking forward to this, and there's a reason why I say was, but let's pick up Gilded Wolf that I actually own. So since the shortlist was published 2 weeks ago, I have read this. My friend was kind enough to switch out the body read, We Hunt the Flame, to this book, because when it was my turn to decide a book, so I was basically, should we read this or this one? So if you would like, we can read this. Yeah, I did not like this. Period. It was funny for me because my friend kept ranting about it through Messenger. It was hilarious, but yeah, yeah. This book is the reason why I don't want to be Sorcerer of Thorns, because right now I'm just, no, I will not give this category any more energy right now, because I was contemplating that, because I could say that I have DNF'd The Cool Prince, and then I could try to read Skyward and Starsight and see if I could feel like I had enough behind me to vote in this category. But no, this one just, no. This, I would not recommend this, and I actually have no idea how this showed up on the shortlist. Then we have Best Debut. The first one of being that I have a book that I've started, and that's A Memory Called Empire by Arcane Martin. This was one that I got more and more feelings that this would make the list, and I'm pretty happy that it did, because so far it's really unique and it's a really nice debut book, so I do really like it. So far I really am enjoying this, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. Then we have Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. This one I also thought would end up on this list, because this has been very hyped. A lot of mixed reviews. This is the book a lot of people have said that they felt like the female romance that this one has in the campaign, or like a lot of people were mentioning. No, lesbian necromancers. Yeah, that's what they have basically said. And a lot of people feel like that was not a thing. I don't know, I haven't read it. I'm still really excited about it, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting to it. And the last book for the debut category that I don't own is 10,000 Doors of January. It's actually on its way, and I'm really looking forward to this one. A lot of people have said that it's beautiful, and I honestly wasn't excited about it at all, but then lately more and more reviews have come up, and it sounds great. It sounds beautiful. So I am crossing my fingers. A lot of people also read it in January because they felt like they had to do that. It's the main character, I think, whose name is January. So I'm really looking forward to this category, and we'll see what happens. Or basically what my feelings are, and if I agree with what the voting and the judges' votes will be. That was a weird sentence. Let's just keep it in. Then we have Best Science Fiction, and for that category we have Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir and A Memory Called Empire by Arcane Martin. So a lot of people voted for these in two different categories. Some, like, when I saw that I was like, yes, less books to read, but also, oh, those people really like them that much. So I'm really looking forward to them. The last book in this category is Recursion by Blake Crouch. I did have this on my TBR, but I wasn't like, oh, I need to get to it right now. and I'm still not really feeling that way. I didn't really feel like it was science fiction-y from when people talked about it. It sounded a little bit more mystical, paranormally, but maybe I just misinterpreted it. I thought they meant something else. Let's just go with that one, so I don't need to stumble upon words. But I am looking forward to it. I'm waiting for it from my library. Fantasy! Best fantasy for 2019. This was a chunker of this list is a chunker. The first book being The Starless Sea by Ern Morgenstern. And this is the Illumicrate edition. This is about a man who finds this library and starts reading the stories, and one of the stories turned out to be his life. And then it goes from there. I have absolutely no idea. People basically think that you should go in as blind as possible. And yeah, I'm kind of surprised that this one ended up on the list actually, because it has gotten really mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people do not. Some people are disappointed in it. And I do think that it made the list because this has been eagerly awaited. The first book that Erin, if I will say it in Swedish, Morgenstern wrote was The Night Circus, and that one came out 2011. So people have been waiting for her next book. So I shouldn't really have been that surprised that this one showed up, but I still am, because as I said, it has gotten really mixed reviews. But I am looking forward to it. It's huge, but yeah, of course it is. And then we have The Massive Beats that I knew was going to end up on this. And that's The Pirate of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. The reason why I knew that this one would show up was because of how much coverage it has had on BookTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, and just like media hype. And also because a lot of people really have enjoyed it. People have also appreciated the fact that it's a standalone. It's a massive standalone, but it's still a standalone. And there's not that many standalone fantasies out. The Starless Sea, Endless Sea. Did I say Starless Sea? Whatever. It's also a standalone, but I knew that this was going to end up because so many people really liked it. I have heard some people having mixed things about this, but most have really enjoyed it. And yeah, like seriously, with those other books, we'll see. But I am looking forward to this ever since I first saw this cover and heard what this was about. I think 2000 and like beginning of 2018, and every single time people talked about it, I just skipped ahead because I didn't want to remember why I really wanted to read it. But yeah, I am looking forward to it, and yeah, why I haven't read it, I don't know, especially since I was like 99% certain that it was going to end up on this list. I have no idea. And the last book for the fantasy category was Gods of Jade and Shadows by, I don't remember her last name, something Garcia in the end. Yeah, I don't have a list in front of me with the authors, I just have a list with the books. This is a Persephone Hades retelling, some people say. I do know that it takes place in Mexico and has something to do with a Mexican death god, and someone needs to help him or stop him. I don't really know. This one I was also kind of surprised showed up on this list because I haven't really heard a lot about it. Before this year, 2020, I think I only seen it talked about by Rachel for Kalanadi. So I was really surprised that it showed up on this list because I was like, oh, well, it's only really been viewed, so to speak, or like seen it on BookTube for the last like month or two. So I was kind of surprised that it showed up, but it did. So now I have to read it. Well, have to and have to. That's up for debate, but it's on this list, and that one is also on its way to me. So as for my own plans for this round of BookTube SFF awards, I will focus on debut and science fiction, because that's technically 6 books, but you can read 4 and then vote in 2 categories. My next priority is definitely fantasy, and then I will not middle grade, young adult, and let's see, young adult and short work. I'm not going to put any energy in it like it is right now, but mostly what I do is that the book that wins in categories that I'm not really interested in, I probably will read it, but we will see what happens, and I'm looking forward to the voting begins and the live show and seeing everything, because that's going to be really fun. So what are your plans for this BookTube SFF Awards? Did you know it existed to start with? And if you didn't, yes, I showed you something. That sounded cringy. Let's keep it in. But yeah, we'll see how I do. I am already feeling slightly overwhelmed when I saw the list, and I was like, oh no, so many books I want to read. I felt kind of overwhelmed, and I didn't really read anything for a couple of days. But that happens. So yeah, see you next time. Bye.